Incompetence in Jamaican diplomacy, exploring its impacts and consequences.
Remember, I said to you that when it comes to diplomacy, that we have rank amateurs running the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and it starts at the top. Starts at the top with my favorite minister, Minister Kamina Johnson Smith. Despite being there for all these years, she continues to falter. She continues to make mistakes. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She doesn't. It's a waste of time. Let me show you something. Take a look at this. My fellow Jamaicans, I have seen the State Department post on several related reports. And this is if it's coming from her, because it looks like it's coming from her. It says post Honorable Kamina J. Smith. I repeat, my fellow Jamaicans, I have seen the State Department post on several related reports, and I'm seeking verification and clarity. Please be assured that as soon as I have same, I will provide you with an update. Big problem. Big problem. Here's why. For as long as she's been there, and she is the longest serving foreign minister for Jamaica, she shouldn't be seeking verification and clarity. She shouldn't be saying, I have seen the State Department post. If you're in the position that long and you know what you're doing, you develop relationships with people. People have an interest in what you're doing. And so they give you a heads up. So you know what's going on. This to me is a confession of failure. I have seen the State Department post. No. When I was working overseas, this wouldn't happen. Because you know why? Somebody on the other side would say to me, hey, listen, this is coming down. And then you get a chance to say, hey, can you stop it? Can you amend it? Can you do this? Can you do that? And if the answer was no, at least you knew that this thing was coming. And you get what? You get ahead of it. So you start talking to your people, you start talking to your bosses about this thing, saying so they're putting a pause on processing green cards. So we need our people know this. This looks like she was surprised. You shouldn't be surprised by these things, Minister Smith, Johnson Smith. You shouldn't be. And look, and she makes it even worse. Look at the second sentence. Please be assured that as soon as I have same, I will provide you with an update. By the way, you know what? What this reflects on as well? It reflects on the ambassador. These are things that they're supposed to have their sources, they're supposed to have their colleagues, they're supposed to have their friends or whatever. But they say, no, you realize. No, they're beginning to realize. Yes, Petroy, rookie move. Now they're beginning to realize that America has what? Interest. Interest. They're thinking, well, we are friends. Because you remember when
my friend
Secretary Marco, yeah, when he went to Jamaica, the Prime Minister, I said, oh, my friend, and on the phone, and I said, oh, my friend, and I remember I kept saying, America doesn't have friends. They don't, or if they do have friends, you know what? What is a trump card to put a play on the word or upon it? Card is interests. No matter how we and your friend, that's the thinking. No matter how we and your friend, American interests come first. The hell with the friendship. The friendship, yes, we can eat and we can laugh and we can talk, but business is business. Yes, sitting here watching, her father was an ambassador, but she wasn't paying attention. You're absolutely correct. This thing here is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. I have seen the State Department post. Let me tell you something. When I was overseas, right, as a diplomat, when I was overseas, you see, if my bosses in Washington heard something, read something before they heard from me or read something from me. I know it's a family program, but let me just say, my ass would be grass. They said we don't want, if we can hear this from host country government, then we don't need you. We don't need you.
And that was going to be my question, because if the Minister of Foreign Affairs is going to hear something or check on something via a post, there are people out here, that regular people, that are more aware of what is happening than the person who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So somebody in Jamaica got a message. Somebody walking down the street drinking a sky juice. Them still the sky juice in Jamaica. Get a message before the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Are you serious?
Yeah, this is ridiculous. It's disgraceful. She should have never written this. She should have never written this. I can tell you one thing. I can tell you one thing. Yeah, I can tell you one thing. If she worked for the US government and this happened, she'd be removed. Because they would say, well, we don't need you. Because if we have to wait to see things published someplace. No, that's why we have you there. That's why we have you in charge. We have you in charge. You and the ambassador, we have you in charge so that you can develop networks, you have your relationships, and therefore you can get a heads up when things are coming. And guess what? Think about it. If Jamaica is such a friend, how come Jamaica ended up on that list of 73 or 75 countries? How come?
Correct.
How come? And that's why you need the advance notice, because then you could go in and make an argument saying, listen, you know, this is a bad reflection. We don't deserve this and blah, blah, blah. You can make your argument. But look what she put. I have seen the State Department post and several related reports, and I'm seeking verification and clarity. So she don't know. And you see, when she says seeking verification and clarity, let's be clear. Her verification, and you just said verification and clarity. She never said she ever try to change anything, you know. She just said, I'm just gonna verify that it is true. That's all. What kind of nonsense is this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeking verification. Verification meaning yes, it is true. Clarity, yes, this is the context in which it's done. We don't need that. We need advance notice so you can come in and say, you can go in and say, listen, here's how this thing, here's how we should proceed. Jamaica is a friendly country. We have an outstanding relationship with you. Why are you doing this to us? Why you put us on this list? We don't pose a threat. And then you go on and make your argument and advance. So you get ahead of the story. But anyway, here's what you come with now, Kevin. Here's the next piece of it. She come back, you know. This woman doesn't have no sense. Look what she come back and say. She come back and say, as promised.
You cannot say she told. You cannot say she hasn't kept her. Well, she didn't give her a word. Her promise, and is coming back with information.
Let me ask you this, Kevin. Tell me the information that she came back with. Tell me how many people didn't hear about this through social media or some other source before she brought this news back to them. How many people? Most people heard about it before she came back.
But it don't know already.
Yeah, so when she says promise, I've confirmed, that's what I'm saying. She's useless. We don't need her. If this is what she's coming back to tell us something that we already know, because it's out there that yes, they have sent to certain countries and they've put a pause on the processing of immigrant visas. That is what she come back and tell us. We know. The whole purpose of this is to come back and tell us things that we don't know. You don't come back and tell us after we have found out. Yes, as promised, I have confirmed that there is in fact, oh my goodness gracious, a pause in the issuance of U.S. immigrant visa applications from nationals of certain countries, including Jamaica. I repeat that this relates Repeat, what did you say? Okay, I repeat that this relates to immigrant visas only, persons seeking to live permanently in the U.S. This does not affect applications for regular tourist visas, student visas, business visas, or visas part of seasonal work programs, farm work, and hospitality, which continue to be processed by the U.S. Embassy in Kingston. While detailed information is not available, I am advised that the U.S. Embassy in Kingston will provide such further clarity as they are able. So shouldn't get further clarity. I encourage persons with individual or family processes underway and who have specific questions to use their usual platforms and channels to seek updates. Why you not give them the updates then? Since you are seek verification and clarity, why you not give them?
No, sir.
And by the way, Kevin, you know what should up and down, we know. Should remember so there's a rule now, we know that if you apply for a B1, B2, and the other the H1B, all the other visas that I shouldn't say all the other visas, but certain visas that you have to pay, you have to put up a bond, right? We don't see which part to come out and talk about that. And by the way, you know what she hasn't spoken about? You remember that they had a same-sex couple that the one member of the couple was transferred to Jamaica, and so the partner went out, was supposed to go along. And she went out and said, "Oh, it's against the government," was up in arms, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Guess what? I wrote an ATI to them. I said, "Tell me if the couple was allowed to come to Jamaica." Crickets, nothing. These people are useless. By the way, big announcement now. Speaking of my favorite minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith, this Tuesday, Rattigan versus Kamina Johnson-Smith and the others, that case is going to be heard in the Court of Appeal at 9:30 this Tuesday. So, if we not say prayers, say no prayers. If we not make a contribution towards the legal fund, make the contribution. But the case, remember that case? If you have standing to bring an action, because they figure that if you live overseas, then you're not really a Jamaican. Remember that case? Well, I'm now telling you that case is going to be heard in the Court of Appeal this coming Tuesday. So we shall see. But putting the case aside and talking about this lady, in my estimation, useless like a $3 bill. Useless. Can't spend a $3.
You're holding it.
She's useless. And I say that based on facts. I want somebody to read what she wrote and tell me that this isn't, for all intents and purposes, a surrender of her duties. She surrendered because this is not what she's supposed to be doing. And where's the ambassador? Nobody know here. Petra, no, one of ISAT's colleagues, John Clark, is a lawyer.